Reagan, a group called the Patriot Front are currently marching down to the World Trade Center. Currently, approximately 90 to 150 individuals identified at Patriot Front and recognize the right-wing organization are advancing towards the 9/11 World Trade Center located downtown Manhattan in New York City. Numerous sightings have been reported from the subways and Oculus Mall and now towards no Zionists in government. Oh, come on. This is, dude. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. These guys are principled anti-Zionist guys. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, does anyone have a good meme for me for the blast off or what? Why do people call them feds? I'm not American because they are way too organized. I mean, yeah, they're super organized. They're in shape. They're not fat enough, first of all. So they match. Oh my god. Oh, I forgot. Another one of my haters got outed as a pedophile. Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, the streak continues of like Hasanabi haters keep consistently getting outed. I forgot about that. Yeah, in 4K. You guys remember when I was talking to DJ Academics? No, not DJ Academics. You know when I was talking to DJ Academics and there was a dude in the chat who was like spamming about how much I suck and all this shit? Like I think he's like a moderator for DJ Academics. I don't have any beef with DJ Academics. He's great. He's wonderful, I think. I don't know. But yeah, he was in the chat um shitting on me and saying that I suck, I'm a fake socialist, yada yada yada, right? Well, it turns out he's just like on camera touching children, like in a Walmart or something. Yeah, he was like, bro, DJ Ock, like, you know, I'm banning this guy. Don't talk to him, please. Don't talk to him, please. And it turns out like this guy was just straight up touching children at a fucking Walmart, which, you know, is obviously horrible, gross, and awful in general, and yet so consistent. It's just like always a bad guy out there. Anyway, yeah, little boom, more like little groom, dude.
He texted me. He said, "You know, Ack, I'm a I'm gonna sit or say it only to you, nobody else, and apologize to you for not telling."
How about you apologize to the children? The fuck? This guy, this guy is apologizing to DJ Academics and not the children. What is happening?
Beforehand and basically making it look stupid. You helped me through so much.
It's just odd because it's odd because, well, I mean, I find it really strange that he's just like apologizing to DJ Academics after being outed as like a serial sexual abuser of children. Um, but also, like, um, you know, it's just, I guess it like flows with the pedocon theory in general. This is like one of DJ Academics' mods and like works with him or something.
And I looked at you like a big
And
brother.
a friend.
I heard you say get help, but I want you to know since that day, I've gotten help. And I've grown so much since then. I quit smoking, got off drugs, and changed my whole life around. What I did was wrong. Indirectly or not, I was just not in the right headspace whatsoever. I wish you the best in your life and in the future. I'm going to continue to better myself and take this as a growing experience.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart security camera footage keeps getting posted of the weirdo too. Yeah, he was just like, this person is like DJ Academics' mod and like a member of his community, like a head, like a part of his community and a friend to him, like personally. He's also like, I think a rapper or something. Like, I believe he was, I believe he was like a rapper. And, yeah, he's like a Florida rapper. You keep repeating that like it's DJ Academics' fault. I'm not. What what are you talking about? I said nothing about DJ Academics. I'm just making fun of the little boom guy who and also saying like it's ridiculous that he's apologizing to DJ Academics instead of like, you know, addressing the victims. Yeah, he was like a meme rapper or something. I'm just trying to explain to people what the situation is because not many are tuned in. That apology is pretty normal. Part of the rehabilitative program for people incarcerated on federal sex offense charges is writing a letter of apology to DJ Academics. It's standard. Yeah. Anyway, um, he was definitely but when I was talking at Ak, he was in the chat just like nonstop shitting on me. And the reason why someone brought this to my attention is for that reason. Because the theory is like you put the crosshairs on me, and lo and behold, sooner or later, it's going to come out that you're a bad person. You've done some bad shit. Okay. This does not extend to DJ Academics, who was relatively gracious with me, despite the fact that he does have a, content boner in general. Okay. This is his mod chirping at you. Oh, this is it, right? I love chat being like, no black voices. Hasan didn't want a black voice in that circumstance. Bro, no jumper. Adam 22's operation. We're calling that a black voices now? Really? Halo Boom? Is that what you're saying? Hasan said no black blogs. Yeah. Which is ironic because he was like defending in this conversation. He was defending Tory Lanez and claiming that, Adam 22, No Jumper, like The Daily Loud, these were all like black blogs. Saying in the chat, dumbass, shut the fuck up. Meme rapper.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is there's
Wanna
problems.
be meme rapper, motherfucker. Okay, sorry, go on.
There's problems with Kelsey's situation because
His Twitter is logged, but almost a year ago. Little Boom. Hasan called me a meme rapper. La la la. He loved it. If never taken an L as a sport, our Turkish guy would have a gold mine. It's just like, it still doesn't matter though, ultimately. Okay. İzlemeyin şu Türk düşmanı adamı. Yeah. Türk düşmanı adam. Çok Türk düşmanıyım. Sorma. I love getting yelled at by Turkish dudes who say I'm an enemy of the Turks. And then you got like liberal subreddits being like, Hasan is so pro-Turkey and he secretly speaks in a Turkish language when he thinks nobody is listening. And he says like, he says scary things in Turkish, but we're listening. We know what he's saying. Did you guys see that? My haters are out of control, brother. I think there needs to be a real conversation about deplatforming Hasan. This is Scarlet Red said, we need to study the brains of these people, find out how this happened. Giving tonebacks to the terrorists, uncritically praising the Houthis, the crazy racist shit he says in Turkish when he thinks no one is listening. The crazy racist shit he says in Turkish when no one is listening. Brother, half the Turkish motherfuckers on this platform hate me now because I rip into them all the goddamn time in Turkish. You just don't know what I'm saying in Turkish, so you magically assume it must be scary because you're a racist piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah, when I yelled at like some Turks in the chat for their anti-Arab racism, and then they decided I was a Turk hater. Running cover for the ethnic cleansing in Ukraine. Yeah, totally. If he were pushing any of these positions on the right, he would almost have been banned ages ago. Rather, he's been allowed to remain the primary vector of misinformation on the left. I think there needs to be a serious convo about banning him from Twitch and YouTube. Otherwise, in a year, we're going to get a story about a mass shooting inspired by his rhetoric. Yeah. Your haters are writing their college theses on why you should be deplatformed for real. It's ridiculous. I love the liberal mind though. Like a person like this is just no different than a right winger. And it is most likely a right winger that calls themselves a liberal at this point. Because you know, I've been saying all of these things for years. I do love this guy. I think he is like a right-wing guy who just calls himself a social democrat. R/Vosh is starting to realize what Hasan truly is. 1, deeply racist. 2, pro-terrorism. And 3, a Russia shill. Hasan is a dangerous and deluded extremist. He's a demagogue and cult leader who is poisoning the minds of young people watching him. The guy said that he didn't have quotes of you being racist, but that you were racist against Kurds and Armenians. Yes, that is no different than motherfucking Andrew Tate. If anything, a lot of Turkish people yell at me because I'm not racist towards Kurdish people or Armenians. Why don't these guys talk to a Kurdish person or an Armenian person and hear them if they think my position is racist towards Kurdish people or Armenian people? I have literally brought people onto this broadcast that I'm good friends with that went and fought in Rojava. Okay? Multiple times, as a matter of fact. You are out of your fucking mind. It's just weird because, like, back in the day, we could just regard this as being schizo posting and move on. Nowadays, there's enough momentum beyond it. It's not simply just schizo posting, but instead, everyone is turned into a schizophrenic person. Not to disrespect the schizophrenic people out there, obviously. I should stop being ableist in that regard, but this is like you're hallucinating, okay? Let's just not say schizo posting. You are hallucinating. It's like a mass hallucinogenic. Your tweet made the front page of Reddit on r/get noted. Bunch of bloodthirsty warmongers saying how they hate you without any self-awareness. Yes, Reddit has become a absolute bloodbath of far-right rhetoric, oftentimes being dished out by liberals who don't even recognize how much of a neocon they are operating as. It's genuinely scary. I see the momentum. I see the change in attitudes. I see the cultural change that is happening right in front of my eyes. And it does definitely, you know, it makes me worry a little bit. It makes me worry a lot. It's because more Europeans are on it now. Yeah. It's been that way regarding Palestine for 10 plus years. Yes, for sure. But having said that, I think this extends beyond simply Palestine. Bro, people calling it not a war crime on Twitter is not affecting anything, actually. It's just Twitter shit. No, me calling it a war crime on Twitter is not affecting anything either. When America does something When America does something and chooses not to consider it a war crime, then it's not a war crime. Okay. It doesn't matter. The point isn't that. The point is that a lot of places, a lot of spaces that formerly fancied themselves under the Trump administration to be hostile to reactionary ideology have found themselves completely in the throes of reactionary ideology when it comes to defending American empire. Okay. And also, I mean, I'll give you another great example of this, right? Like this dude, Rashid, got interviewed by BBC Arabic, right? And like, obviously, no one is yelling at the BBC and saying that they platformed a terrorist. They just ran up with the notion that this guy is like the most anti-Semitic terrorist to have ever lived, comparing him to Adolf Hitler, comparing him to Osama bin Laden, okay? And not like a 19-year-old who has withstood a genocide for more of his life than not. Rashid, not Rashid, sorry. And it's so crazy how many people, it's so crazy how many people just like got lost in the sauce. You try to say that it's because people are just yelling at you because you're you and it's not important in the grand scheme of things. But what you're failing to recognize is that that is reactionary. Okay. Like it doesn't matter if they're doing it just because it's me and they hate me. They're still saying racist ass shit. They're still, you know, the underlying assumption there is that any fucking Muslim dude that you see, you automatically are like, well, he must love, you know, child slavery and sex trafficking and is Osama bin Laden. That, in my opinion, is unacceptable. Do you think that some people knew you were talking about Visegrad but saw the opportunity to farm some clout from that moment? I think so. Yes. 100%. I don't know how better I could have like described my position. Obviously, I don't think that like Iraq going into Kuwait was somehow Iraq being a victim of colonial violence, but people obviously like deliberately and voluntarily misunderstood what I said so they could fucking get clicks off of it. A lot of that comes from he's not very bright, Twitch not sending their best, and it's like a lot of this basically comes from people wanting to join in on the farming operation. Wait. I'm sorry, bro. Hold up. There's no way you're referring to Saddam's Republican Guard divisions who spearheaded the invasion of Kuwait, killed thousands of civilians in Karbala, and were accused of chemical weapons as the victims of colonial violence. Yeah, exactly. No, that's precisely why I'm not talking about that. That's not. I said, no, you fucking dumbass. I'm talking about the original tweet the fascistic at Visegrad posted that was fantasizing about bombing Yemen and turning it into a highway of death. And it's like, it's so stupid. It's concern trolling to the maximum degree. It's just that the YouTuber who the sub is for made a video and mentioned that you deny the Kurdish genocide and don't support Ukraine, which is being so disingenuous. Yes. Redditors and r/map love posting maps comparing when the UK abolished slavery compared to Africa. They've been racist as fuck. Yeah. Think you got to go to Yemen and tour the captured ships now? I would. Why are the viewers dropping? Because a lot of people that previously thought, and by the way, this is like a beta count, right? Like this person, Houthis for win, 100% is like one of the people I'm talking about that spends all their time in subreddits and came in here and unironically made another new sock account specifically to ask this question. Viewers are dropping across the board on every platform for almost every single content creator. I know which community that you're probably coming from because you guys like I think look at my analytics more than I do. Which, you know, I hope that that gives you a little bit of happiness. I don't know. But overall, views are dropping across across the board for every platform, but the reality is I think that many people who fancied themselves to be like anti-Trump progressives didn't realize that they were just, you know, joining in on the fun and fantasizing about how like radical their politics are. And once they actually had to think about like America's involvement in the global affairs, they realized like, no, I actually do like America's involvement in the global affairs. I do think that America's actions are like oftentimes for good. And that is a position that is very reactionary. In a way, that position is no different than looking at the current situation with transphobia. And if you're not a trans person, okay, see, yeah, I don't even come from subreddits. I used to watch you until you became a full-fledged tanky. My friend, you're using terms like full-fledged tanky. You made a fake account that you falsely wrote Houthis for win, specifically to like, I guess, present yourself as like a pro-Yemen poster or something. And you created this this alternate persona for yourself to come in here specifically to try and have a conversation with me and like bait me into responding to you. And it's like very odd because this is the behavior of an extremely online person. And we all are extremely online here. But this is also the behavior of an extremely online person that's, you know, very sad. It's just, you know, this is the type of stuff that I think back in the day, maybe like 10 years ago, we would look at online and go, oh, that's like a mentally ill person behaving this way. Nowadays, this kind of opinion has, or this kind of behavior has been totally normalized. Yeah. Use that energy. I'm sad because you've let go of your old values. This is not true. This was always my values. My values always were that America is a burden on the planet. America lies and acts like it's the police of the world for good. It's you whose values have changed. That's the point. One of my most famous moments that everybody yelled at me that many people were actually in support of was when I was talking about 9/11, which is ironically tied back to Yemen. My criticism of Dan Crenshaw at that time directly revolved around Dan Crenshaw refusing to stop arming Saudi Arabia, arms which actually went to Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, which was operating in Yemen, doing a genocide. That is not a change in values. You, and I really hope you can be a little bit more critical of your own personal perspective here. Your values shifted because it was hot to shit on Donald Trump because Donald Trump was giving arms to Saudi Arabia, so it was fucked up. But when Joe Biden does it, maybe that's not so fucked up. Maybe Joe Biden is bombing Yemen for a good reason rather than Donald Trump arming Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemen and force a blockade was for bad reason, right? That's the entire point here. My values did not change. Your values changed. And perhaps maybe you became complacent with American empire. Maybe you started watching people. Yeah, I mean, here's you talking about this. The same shit in 2018 before 821 and when you had sub 200 viewers. Following my Twitch again over the other. Now, of course, they're not identicals. They're not identical situations. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because of 9/11, U.S. imperialism kicked it into overdrive and caused destabilization worldwide and has made the world overall a less safe place. The United States has caused more global terror than Al Qaeda could ever imagine. That is a verbatim, consistent position that I've maintained and wrote about extensively and talked about extensively for the past 10 years. So tell me once again, why do you think my values have changed? And that's the thesis. That's the real tea. And then also, not only causing, not only destabilizing entire regions around the world, but also domestically spying on its own citizens, spying on innocent citizens living here. Patriot Act was pushed. The Department of Homeland Security was created. This only happened for. How are we going to adapt to the changing landscape? My friend, I had like 35 people watching me at this point in 2018. What do you think? It's not like I arrived at these positions because I was like, this is going to be popping. I'm used to not having a shit ton of followers and a shit ton of money. I didn't do this because I thought, oh yeah, I'll definitely make a shit ton of money and gain a shit ton of followers if I keep saying these things. Here's the thing. This is the reason why this is the reason why I've always laughed at people who say, oh, you're grifting to the left. There was maybe a short window of time, an opportunity that you could try and grift to the left, right? But that time passed, and every single person, you remember when you made a graph showing revisionist Marxists and center? You described yourself as in between Bernie and revisionists? Yeah. You're, what are you talking about? Okay. That's perfect. Yes. What do you mean? Do you think that changes my position at all? Or do you think you don't understand what these terms mean? Anyway, that's my point. Listen, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. And I'm gonna be as charitable as I possibly can, even though you're very clearly in here to troll, right? Now remember and remind yourself, you started out by saying, I'm sad because you've let go of your old values. You just saw a video from 2018, probably even before you started watching. Probably before you even started watching, of me saying the exact same things, even before my famous America Deserved 9/11 moment, right? And the problem is, you probably personally, this shows investment, right? This shows a tremendous amount of investment. You put a lot of thought and effort into like trolling me, and I appreciate that. So I'm trying to help you walk through this really quickly. The fact that you put this much effort into trolling implies that like this is something you care about quite a bit. Okay? That means you're very passionate about this position that I have not maintained my values, right? And the issue is maybe your values have shifted from a time where, you know, you had a different perspective on American foreign policy. So where is this coming from? Are you being fooled? Has your values genuinely shifted? Or did someone explain things to you in a very weird slant that made a lot of sense for you because it appealed to this inherent fear that everyone has? Everyone fears change, and everyone fears instability, and everyone fears the unknown. This is at the heart of reactionary politics. And reactionary politics can be everywhere. It can be in a group of individuals that consider themselves to be socialist. Okay? That's the thing. People that personally say that they are socialists can still very much maintain a lot of reactionary opinions when it comes to the issues that I talked about, specifically American foreign policy. Okay? And I think what ended up happening for you and for many others is that a lot of content creators saw a lane, maybe because they organically did not think about it and were like, oh, I think I like America. I much prefer like America to scary China. Like, what if China takes over? Right? And then they're doing scary Chinese things. We don't know. What if they are? They are bad after all. Look at what they did in Xinjiang, right? And I think that that very real fear that a lot of people have causes them to not think clearly about America's actions. And it's a genuine intellectual weakness for many who ostensibly consider themselves to be on the left. This intellectual weakness causes intellectual incuriosity. A terrorism label is a perfect demonstration of that. Okay? But you can adapt without changing your views. People have done it in the past. What do you mean? By the way, god damn, I've written so much that I forgot I wrote an article about Yemen in 2016. Chatter is talking about this video. Your values did not change. You are still a
Go through
democratic
a transitionary
socialist.
period. That said, anarchists still count as socialists.
I'm new, but if your values have changed, they seem to have changed for the better. No. What's going on in Yemen, and why aren't we talking about U.S. involvement? October 18th, 2016. Let's talk about the U.S. involvement in war crimes in the Middle East because no one else is. Donald Trump's sexual assault accusations, Hillary Clinton's transcripts that reveal her true positions, and most importantly, Kim Kardashian's recovery after the gruesome break-in that occurred in Paris. These three headlines dominated news this past week, crowding out the comparatively unimportant news that a Navy destroyer in the Red Sea fired a barrage of cruise missiles at 3 radar sites controlled by rebel Houthis in Yemen. What's happening? The Navy has described these strikes as a response to missiles launched by Houthis towards the USS Mason, an American cruiser patrolling the Red Sea. But this retaliation is looking more and more like a tipping point in the escalation of U.S. involvement in the ongoing civil war in Yemen. To further complicate matters, the Houthis have denied they fired the missiles targeting U.S. warship to begin with. But let's try to break it down. At the top of the hour, there was a 3-minute ad break. And that 3-minute ad break passed, but I'm going to run it now. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. That is new. That is a thing that has changed. For sure. That much changed. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, though. The Yemen civil war's starting point can be traced back to a political transition of power between Yemen's longtime authoritarian president, Ali Abdullah Saleh, who resigned after 33 years under pressure from 9 months of deadly Arab Spring protests. He passed on the power to his deputy, Mansour Hadi. You literally are the most consistent content creator. It's insane as someone who watched a lot of your old stuff and how much you repeat yourself almost word for word. Not parroting, but the same analysis. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, talking to Jewish Currents' senior editor, Noah Colwin, about Israel's controversial nation state bill. This was a Facebook stream that I did on the 20th of July. That's so funny. With, again, my friend Noah Colwin. Some things don't change, ladies and gentlemen. Some things, unfortunately, stay the very same. I think he should put his money where his mouth is and donate some as well to the newly emerging ship tourism industry in Yemen. Okay, dude, you don't have to send me like an obviously mentally unhinged, mentally ill person, probably trying to meme with like 30 likes, barely. We're having a much better conversation, I think. Now, Houthis for Win has stopped talking because he probably realized that he's in the wrong, and there's also no interest in like re-examining their own personal positions, so they just left. But I think this is good because I didn't even realize I wrote this. Like, it's been so fucking long. I probably made a video about it. But Hadi struggled to deal with a separatist movement led by forces loyal to Saleh and with the Houthi movement, which champions Yemen's Zaidi Shia population. Aside from the opposition, problems in Yemen, already the poorest country in the Middle East, became unmanageable due to a range of issues, including frequent al-Qaeda attacks, long-standing corruption, persistent unemployment, and food insecurity. The Houthis were largely successful and even imprisoned Hadi in the end, driving him out of the country, which is when the Saudi bombings began. In 2015, Hadi returned to the Yemeni port city of Aden after Saudi-backed government forces recaptured the city. I guess
Donald Trump.
Yeah, there's the video on it. This is probably one of the cherished memories which has robbed you from your brain rot. Saudi involvement. But why would the Saudis want to get involved in another country's civil war in the first place? Ever since Saleh's resignation, the Saudi government has been attempting to influence the outcome of the struggle in favor of the internationally recognized Hadi government. In an effort to gain more international support, the kingdom has also branded their efforts as a proxy war between Shias and Sunnis and against Iran. The Saudis claim that this war bred from regional tensions between Sunnis and Shias competing for supremacy across the Middle East. Meanwhile, Iran's Shia government officially recognizes Hadi and has denied arming or supporting the Houthi movement. And even the most exhaustive studies have concluded that Iran's involvement had been minimal and limited to small arms in comparison to the U.S.'s more direct intervention. At the time, this was true. Since then, of course, Iran has greatly, remember, this is back in 2015, 2016. So at the time, the Iranian government recognized officially recognized Hadi and were offering small arms. Since then, a lot has changed. That's why they have those rockets, if you recall. I'll cover the video in a second. I'll show you the video, which already included a massive supply of arms to Saudi Arabia. But now, after this weekend's cruise missile attacks, has progressed to active participation in the conflict, yet the U.S. news media continue to all but ignore Yemen's civil war or relegate these stories to the back pages. U.S. involvement. So how did the U.S. get involved? Well, aside from the $110 billion worth of arms and the Obama administration has sold to Saudi Arabia over the course of the past 8 years, not to mention another billion that was recently approved, the U.S. has long been assisting the kingdom. By the way, this is when I was at the Young Turks. This is when I was making videos, cooking them up at the Young Turks. Let's see what people were saying when they uploaded this video in, I guess, October 19, 2016. A U.S. Navy destroyer in the Red Sea recently fired on Yemen. How did the United States military get involved in Yemen's civil war? This got 99,000 views. Not bad. The Young Turks. Why not call yourself the real natural name Young Zionists? That was the original Young Turks back in the time. Responsible for the genocide against Armenia and a lot more. We are tired of terror and innocent kids dying of hunger. This video was made almost a year ago. Since then, the cholera outbreak, which termed sporadic, has grown much, much worse. They choose to fight, then they must take the consequences. Too many people, too many problems. They talk about Syrian children because it's orchestrated fake news. Assad isn't gassing them. Just EMP those countries and cleanse the countries manually. How about living the Middle East to sort out its own problem for a change? Your shirt and puffed up chest distract me. I can't focus on what you're saying. The U.S. has long been assisting the kingdom with intelligence and logistical support. The steady influx of arms shipments could have been seen as a part of an attempt to limit the Iran-backed Shia-controlled territories in the Middle East, but its most obvious goal is to keep Saudi Arabia, one of the U.S.'s most important allies, happy. While this latest attack is the first instance of direct involvement, it is relatively proportional and reasonable compared to the heinous war crimes committed by Saudi forces that the U.S. happily turns a blind eye to. Oh, also, the U.S. has been steadily bombing positions al-Qaeda has held in parts of Yemen for some time now, but both the AQAP and ISIS have increased its influence over certain parts of the country as a result of the power vacuum in Yemen, so our plan is backfiring tremendously on a strategic front as well. Devastation in conclusion. The problem isn't just that this political power play isn't working. It's that the people of Yemen are dying directly as a result of the actions taken by our Saudi allies. While both the rebels and the regime have committed atrocities, according to a UN report, the Saudi-led coalition bombings has been responsible for the bulk of the killings, which have claimed the lives of 6,800 Yemenis. In 2015, there were 101 attacks just on schools and hospitals. The attacks have forced Doctors Without Borders to pull out from most positions within the country. This conflict, by the way, that's like Israel shit that Saudi Arabia is doing in Yemen and did in Yemen for years and years and years. This conflict and the accompanying blockade has also led to widespread famine, with UN's World Food Program estimating that there are 14 million food insecure people in Yemen, leaving its people without access to food, water, and medical supplies. There have also been sporadic cholera outbreaks, which of course got so much worse, further devastating the civilian population. In total, almost 3 million people have been displaced. So will a new presidential administration change the direction of militarily interventionist U.S. foreign policy and start caring about the death of Arab civilians? Probably not. Hillary Clinton's track record as a war hawk and Donald Trump's multiple statements about Muslims and his plans to bomb the hell out of ISIS and their families are reason enough for me to think will most likely continue the Obama administration's current policy of assisting the Saudi kingdom in committing war crimes. The only question is whether this latest cruise missile strike is just the first of many more to come, leading to deeper and more direct U.S. involvement in Yemen's civil war. And thanks to the U.S. news media's near blackout on the Yemeni civil war, we might never even know. But at least we'll be fully briefed on whether Billy Bush keeps his job on the Today Show. When people tell me my positions have changed throughout time, this is a good exercise. I forgot about articles that I've written in the fucking past. A chatter reminded me of this article that I wrote in 2016. Now, remember, okay? Remember, and I hope you can go back in time and think about what your positions were in 2016. Almost 10 years ago. It's obviously 8, but almost 10 years ago. Many of you were children. I thought trans people were gross back then. I love my personal growth. Exactly. You say, what do I always say so much that multiple community members have made edits organically about how you repeat yourself often? Yeah. I mean, here, there's the YouTube video of it as well.
Sexual assault accusations, Hillary Clinton's transcripts that reveal her true positions, and most importantly, Kim Kardashian's recovery after the gruesome break-in that occurred in Paris. These were the 3 headlines that dominated the news this past week, crowding out the comparatively unimportant news that a Navy destroyer in the Red Sea fired a barrage of cruise missiles at 3 radar sites.
I'm going to post this video while I was still. I wrote about Yemen.
It's controlled by rebel Houthis in Yemen. The Navy has described these strikes as a response to missiles launched by the Houthis towards the USS Mason, an American cruiser patrolling the Red Sea. But this retaliation is looking more and more like a tipping point in the escalation of U.S. involvement in the ongoing civil war in Yemen. To further complicate matters, the Houthis have denied they fired the missiles targeting the U.S. warship to begin with. But let's try to break it down. The Yemen civil war's starting point can be traced back to a political transition of power between Yemen's longtime authoritarian president Ali Abdullah Saleh, who was resigned after 33 years under pressure from 9 months of deadly Arab Spring protests. He passed down power to his deputy Mansour Hadi. But Hadi struggled to deal with the separatist movement led by forces loyal to Saleh and with the Houthi movement, which champions Yemen's Zaidi Shia population. Now, aside from that opposition, there were more problems in Yemen. It was already the poorest country in the Middle East, and these problems became unmanageable due to a range of issues, including frequent al-Qaeda attacks, long-standing corruption, persistent unemployment, and increasing food insecurity. The Houthis were also largely successful, and they even managed to imprison Hadi. In the end, they drove him out of the country, which is when the Saudi bombings began. In 2015, Hadi returned to the Yemeni port city of Aden after Saudi-backed government forces recaptured the city. But why would the Saudis want to get involved in another country's civil war in the first place? Well, ever since Saleh's resignation, the Saudi government has been attempting to influence the outcome of this struggle in favor of the internationally recognized Hadi movement. In an effort to gain more international support, the kingdom has also branded their efforts as a proxy war between the Shiites and Sunnis and against Iran. The Saudis claim that this is a war bred from the region.
Can you wear makeup before coming on streams like you did for TYT? I wasn't wearing makeup. And that's such a weird question. Like, oh, I should have never read that. That's like a classic, very strange, like parasocial, backhanded compliment ass question. And it's just like you shouldn't have written that, and I should have never read it. You know what I mean? It just like leaves both of us, I hope, feeling gross in the aftermath, especially because like I assume you have a level of like self-awareness, right? Once I call you out.
Regional tensions between Sunnis and Shias competing for supremacy across the Middle East. Meanwhile, Iran's Shia government officially recognizes Hadi and has denied arming or supporting the Houthi movement. And even the most exhaustive studies have concluded that Iran's involvement has been minimal and limited to small arms in comparison to the US's more direct intervention, which already included a massive supply of arms to Saudi Arabia, but now, after this weekend's cruise missile attacks, has progressed to active participation in the conflict. Yet the US news media continue to all but ignore the Yemen civil war or relegate these stories to the back pages. But let's talk about the US for a second. How did the US get involved? Well, aside from the $110 billion worth of arms the Obama administration has sold to the Saudi Arabian government over the course of the past 8 years, not to mention another billion that was recently fast-tracked, the U.S. has long been assisting the kingdom with intelligence and logistical support. This steady influx of arms shipment could be seen as part of an attempt to limit the Iran-backed Shia-controlled territories in the Middle East. But it's the most obvious goal for the U.S. to keep Saudi Arabia, one of the U.S.'s most important allies in the region, happy. While this latest attack is one of the first instances of direct involvement, it is relatively proportional and reasonable compared to the heinous war crimes committed by Saudi forces that the US happily turns a blind eye to. Oh, also, the US has been steadily bombing positions al-Qaeda has held in parts of Yemen for some time now. But both ACAP and ISIS has increased its influence over certain parts of the country as a result of the power vacuum in Yemen. So our plan is backfiring tremendously on a strategic front as well. And the problem isn't just that this political power play isn't working. It's that the people of Yemen are dying directly as a result of the actions taken by our Saudi allies. While both the rebels and the regime have committed atrocities, according to a UN report, the Saudi-led coalition bombings has been responsible for the bulk of the killings, which have claimed the lives of more than 6,800 Yemenis. In 2015, there were 101 attacks just on schools and hospitals. The attacks have forced Doctors Without Borders to pull out from most positions within the country. This conflict and the accompanying blockade has also led to widespread famine. The UN's World Food Program estimates that there are currently 14 million food insecure people in Yemen. The blockade has left people without access to food, water, and medical supplies that they desperately need. There have also been sporadic cholera outbreaks, further devastating the civilian population. In total, almost
This is precisely, for the record, this is precisely the reason why it's just like you can never take like drama farmers who say like Hasan spreads misinformation or doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about seriously, because almost every single one of those dudes in this time frame, while I was covering Yemen, for example, or covering Israel, Palestine, for example, back then they were screaming the N-word into their microphones. Okay, just because they claim that their positions have changed a little bit and they've become a little bit more, I guess, media friendly, doesn't change the reality that there's still a lot of underlying resentment to Islam, underlying resentment to Arabs, and an underlying defense of American imperialism that's trapped in there that they haven't really genuinely looked into and changed their minds on. Okay? People that say I'm a grifter don't realize that these positions were not exactly favorable. Okay? They were not favorable or popular back then either. But it's profoundly easy to turn around and go, let's be real, dude. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Come on. Am I right here? Look at this clip. That's 8 seconds. Now, this is not to say that people's minds cannot change. My goal is to change your mind. Okay? But please, I beg of you not to fall for people whose attitudes shift with political compass memes. Do you understand? People whose opinions change as the waters get colder are not here for a very long time. They haven't been here for a very long time. They're simply making content. And for the record, I make content as well, but there's at least an underlying goal here. My goal is to try and get you to look back on positions that you've taken for granted your entire life. My goal is to try to instill some level of media literacy upon you. Or who change their opinions when an online member of a marginalized community is just mean to them one time? Yes. Also, being open and reminding that you are trying to influence their views is good. Yeah, exactly. People want to be lied to so bad. They want the Tim Pool style, like, I'm actually looking at this from an impartial, reasonable, normal, standard view. Okay? That's not my position. My position is very obvious. I will tell you what I believe in. Okay? And those who hide behind objectivity and neutrality, that claim that they're approaching the subject matter from a liberal framework, from an objective framework, from one that defends human rights, oftentimes have that backing, that is the underlying agenda of the American State Department anyway, so they could just get away with saying that, like, this is the normal thing. Just like Ben Shapiro can get away with looking at everything going on and pointing to it and going, well, it's just common sense. Men can't be women. It's just common sense. It is an inherently reactionary thing to do. Okay? That's it. Please stop. Please take a fucking week off, chatter. Jesus Christ. Did you see your community noted post got posted on Reddit? Yes, dude. I don't want to fucking kill myself, okay? So I'm not going to look at a goddamn subreddit full of war perverts, okay? Jesus Christ. Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to go read through all the fucking comments of people being like, Arabs are servile dogs that deserve to be ruthlessly slaughtered, but I will say that in a progressive liberal tone. Is that what you want? You want me to read that and fucking get a gun and shoot myself in the fucking face? You did it, dude. You did it. God damn. Go post on a fucking subreddit about how, maybe Chinese people are not actually so scary. See how they fucking respond. I know. Fuck, man. I know, dude. I know. Subreddits are full of like psychopathic warmongers. It's like 17-year-olds that go on political compass memes that literally post like they're Donald Rumsfeld, okay? I don't know how the fuck this happened, but it happened. Somewhere along the line, so many young people who were like, I'm actually really progressive and I just care about American defense from progressively. One thing you will always see is that if people are shitting on me relentlessly, okay, examine their positions a little bit. Look at their track record. Look at their consistency. They will not have mine. In many instances, they don't even care about the issues. They just want to cut a Hasan sucks slant. Okay? Even my perspective on debates have not changed. As always, this is from 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, that debates are just for show. I'm not going to go through this again and again and again. Okay? All of this stuff gets artificial. Why are you the only person on the internet that voices these positions? I'm not. I'm just the most popular person on the internet that voices these positions because I have a unique style that incorporates very serious foreign policy coverage that is inherently anti-empire, but then also I do like dumb shit. And I'm also brain broken enough to like legitimately talk to every single individual with a question. I think that's where it comes from. There are plenty of wonderful, beautiful content creators out there who do the same thing, okay? My positions are not unique on the left, I don't think. Yeah, Majority Report definitely has very similar views as well. And Sam has been a longtime broadcaster. I love his commentary. I love his perspective. He might be a little bit, I guess, not as radical as myself overall, but still, Emma is great. Sam is great. There are plenty of other outlets out there that don't get the same level of smoke because they don't respond to the fucking dumbass noise. And they also don't get that. Like, there's no clout to be had by shitting on Majority Report. There is, however, a lot of clout to be had by saying Hasan sucks. He drives a fucking sick car. He has a big house. That's it.
3 million people have been displaced. But my question is this. Will a new presidential administration change the direction of U.S. military intervention as foreign policy and start caring about the death of thousands, if not millions, of Arab civilians? Probably not. Hillary Clinton's track record as a war hawk and Donald Trump's multiple statements about bombing the hell out of ISIS and their families are reason enough for me to think we'll most likely continue the Obama administration's current policy of assisting the Saudi kingdom in committing war crimes. The only question is whether this latest cruise missile strike is just the first of many more to come, leading to deeper and more direct U.S. involvement in the Yemen civil war. And thanks to news media's near blackout of the Yemeni civil war, we might not even ever find out. But at least we'll be fully briefed on whether Billy Bush keeps his job on the Today Show.
Anyway, forever vindicated, boys. Remember that. Don't come to me with the you're fucking inconsistent or you don't know what you're talking about or this is new to you. Here, this is in 2018. Where I'm talking to someone that you guys probably recognize now, a fixture, a stable, permanent fixture of the Hasanabi Friends universe. At the time, the senior editor of Jewish Currents magazine, Noah Colwin. Talking to him about Israel's controversial nation-state bill.
That is incredibly intelligent, like way smarter than I am on a multitude of different subjects. So,
and we are working to, we hope to live up to that legacy. And so we publish not just like sort of news stuff, but we also focus on culture in both our coverage and publishing poetry and fiction. And we also spend a lot of time talking about, of course, Israel, which sort of leads to the news of the day and the nation state bill.
Yeah. You guys are, would you say you're to the left of Haaretz, right? Is that?
I think we're like, Haaretz, I think is sort of like, they're a news publication, and they like, their critics love to say that they have a left-leaning bias, but I would say we're sort of just like a different animal entirely.
Why is genuinely changing your mind on something even considered bad? It's not. That's why I also yell at people who say you're backpedaling when I correct myself after I am told I'm wrong and I look into it and I find out new information. It's very frustrating. That's another thing that I used to ban all the time. The entire problem is that a lot of people don't actually think their mind has changed, but their mind has changed for the worse. I love people who change their minds. There are thousands of people in here who have changed their minds. I want to see what this interview featured. I want to see what he said in this interview really bad. Someone actually sent me like a subtitled version of this, but I don't know where it is. I get that it's probably hard to be this hated for no good reason at all, but it seems silly to do this every day, and it's not very friendly to the people who aren't deep in this pool. Cucks the content often, in my opinion. I just feel shutting off the stream when I'm watching with someone else. Sorry, you're probably right. The thing is, I try to also still turn this into a situation about like a broader position, a situation about like a broader issue, right? I still try to make it. I still try to make it as fuck. What's happening? Why is this not working? Changing my best friend's transphobic opinions, thanks to your point, was the best. Yeah, that's why I do what I do. By the way, that's extremely my shit. That's my fucking goal, baby. Give you the talking points and arm you with the framing on issues that you can get, that you can use in your real life. You always make it about Yemen? Yes, exactly. It's not just about my petty drama or squabbles or anything. I think that there's a broader point to be made about this kind of thing. And the broader point always is like, what does this say about liberalism in America? What does this say about our culture? Okay. If anything, I'm thanking Hamas for making me an anti-Zionist. My views on Israel has changed because of your coverage. I was indoctrinated at a Jewish day school and never taught about Palestinians. Yeah. I think a lot of people forgot not everyone watches stream all day either. Yeah. Lately, though, it feels like we spend half the streams defending your positions rather than the topic of discussion. You've de-radicalized so many Muslims who align with Ben Shapiro / Jordan Peterson. Yeah. All right, let's continue. Stand up for the Palestinian cause. I was surprised. He said, this is after my interview with him, but he went to BBC as well. I was surprised to see many Westerners stand up for the Palestinian cause. I was surprised. And like that, I got my message, and many people stand by the cause. I brought the Galaxy ship that was captured by the Houthis in the Red Sea. The Houthi pirate filmed a video clip in support of the Palestinian people. The video got over 30 million views around the world, after Westerners likened him to the American actor Timothy Chalamet. The video's got millions of views, 26 million views on Twitter, 7 to 8 million on TikTok, and many interacted with the clip. I was surprised to see that many Westerners stand up for the Palestinian cause. And I like that I got my message out there. And many people stand by the cause. And I thought that there was a big hope that not all Westerners, that there is a big hope that not all Westerners are against Palestine. Many of them are on our side. TikTok suspended Russia's account for violating the platform's policies. Even if they suspend an account with 1 million followers, that doesn't matter to me, because as a Yemeni citizen who stands with Palestine, I put my message out there for the West and the East. I put my message out there, and if I get suspended, then I make a second account, and a third, and a fourth. The most important thing here is we are in solidarity with the Palestinian cause. So the cause doesn't die down with it until Palestine's victory. Of course, Yemen's name will be written in history. It's true that many Arab countries didn't stand with Palestine, but we hope they think about it and join in on Palestine's side. And any country that doesn't stand with Palestine, will regret it the day when regret is of no use. Anyway. So, of course, the very same people that originally were very upset at me either did not see this at all, but still, how did he get on the boats, though? You can, it's a tourism destination at this point. It's just a ship that's been, it's been docked for months now, and people can just, go and visit, I think, for, super cheap or for free even. And before people go, he has an AK-47 on the side. Yeah, bro, they do. Many people in Yemen do. And I have mentioned this as well, time and time again, that even if he was a soldier, I think there is value in having him open up. Even if he is a soldier, there is value in trying to understand his perspective. And my methods in that regard is absolutely valid. So you can try to say you cutified him all day, every day. Okay? But notice how the BBC also thought it was worthwhile to interview him. Notice how the BBC also did not, I guess, debate Lord him on motherfucking whether or not he was participating in child slavery or whatever the fuck psychopathic, bloodthirsty, monstrous Redditors and Twitter users were claiming was going on. That's it. Anyway. My best friend is Yemeni, and fun fact, Yemen is the second most armed country in the world after the United States. They casually go to restaurants and cafes with AKs everywhere. I wonder if BBC will get a huge backlash and get canceled on Reddit and Twitter. No. And you have to remember, a lot of these guys do not have any sort of like real consistent positions at all, and they're just simply chirping into the void. Okay? Anyway, we're not going to do this any further. You guys are totally right in saying I'm just like responding to dumbass haters and shit like that. And, you know, it's true. I should stop. This video blew my fucking mind. I think often of the random stabbing victim who says she comes online and sees true crime obsessed women basically bragging about intentionally living with a type of fear she's in therapy to overcome. Oh, here it is. It's Emma Bergquist. I see women proclaiming that this is necessary, that this is the way you need to move through the world as a woman. I see women choosing to live the way I'm fighting to overcome. Now, people will get mad at this and be like, why is she saying it like that? Like women are genuinely under threat. And there is truth to that. When you're, for example, walking alone in a fucking parking lot in the dark, okay? That's perfectly valid. Except when you watch this video, you will recognize that it goes far beyond that. When a lot of people live in profoundly unstable, okay, unsustainable ways. Like ways in which victims of real violence have tried to overcome with therapy. And I think it's literally an ad, I assume. Like, I feel like this is an ad for this, like, weird lock mechanism or something, right? Are socialists supposed to have ads on their Twitch? No. Socialism is when no commerce, no money, and work for free, and also don't get a contract where you run ads. Yeah, no jobs. Socialism is when no job, no jokes, no fun. Dude, this is crazy. Girly should just get a gun at this point. I'm sorry. If Girly gets a gun and she's this paranoid, she is going to kill her dog and her husband or boyfriend, okay? 100p. Someone said, this is me if lock-picking lawyer was evil. Yeah, she's going to kill the Amazon delivery man, okay? I like that she closed all the windows with the shittiest window closing. Like, it's so funny to just basically, it's such a clear representation that this is an advertisement for this like portable door lock thing. Okay. Because like You did all that for your portable door lock, which I'm sure the lockpicking lawyer would do short work with. And then, like, all you do for those windows is basically just this. You think that's going to save you? Like, if someone is trying to break into your house, okay, if you are this fearful that someone's going to break into your house, you're cooked. You're cooked. Those windows are the easiest target. It's also weirdly a fire hazard. You have no exit point. Let's say you are sleeping and God forbid a fire breaks out. You are not making it out. You're not making it out of that house. You are cooked, okay? Literally and figuratively, you are cooked. And it is most likely infinitely, it's infinitely more likely that you will die in a fire than die with a Nicaraguan death squad knocking down your door to, I don't know, get your Blu-ray DVDs for the Notebook or something. Like, what do you have? What do you have at your house? People don't simply break into random people's homes to do violence. Okay? This is the point that I always try to stress to motherfuckers, okay? People do not randomly behave in ways that are irrational. Like, it can happen, right? There's always like antisocial personality disorder, serial killers, whatever, you know what I mean? But beyond that, in most, like the most likely scenario is that you have something in your house that they want, okay? Especially if you're talking about like someone breaking into your house, okay? Especially when you're talking about breaking into your house with like multiple people with guns and stuff. I think a big fear is a rapist breaking into attack. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you, as a woman, are significantly under, statistically speaking, greater threat by being raped by a person that you know in a normal social environment than you are of like someone breaking into your house and raping you, like a random stranger. People don't know this, I don't think. Okay? Or even if you are likely to be attacked or robbed or something like that, that is, again, infinitely more likely to occur in public than it is in your home like this. This does not mean, most women know that, just maybe not in this chat. No, this does not mean that, like, you know, there aren't serial killer rapists or whatever, but there are, but like it's very, very unlikely that they're out there looking to kill you in your Midwestern suburban home. And not only that, but also, this mechanism is not going to stop people any more than just locking your door would. Because most of it is just security theater. Security theater works. Okay? Having cameras outside of your apartment or home is, in most circumstances, just as large a deterrence as having fake cameras out there. Doesn't matter if it's real cameras or even a sign that says you have cameras out there. Okay? This is, weirdly enough, an extension of like QAnon style fears that people have in our increasingly more alienated, increasingly more isolated, and increasingly more isolated than one another. Like, it is no different than, you know, thinking that like children are getting kidnapped every single day. And then hearing about a number on a Facebook meme and you go, 800,000 children got kidnapped last year. And you're like, what the hell's going on? And then you don't even investigate the number at all to find out that like the overwhelming majority of kidnappings are not like kidnappings in the white van sense, but it's just family members having a dispute over who gets to have the child after like a divorce, which is still traumatic. Many others are also specifically a child gone missing that is found immediately. It's like custody disputes. It's, again, people you know. Yes, 80% of those child kidnapping statistics that people post online are actually child custody disputes. The rest, the overwhelming majority of the rest, is simply a child gone missing that is usually found after 48 hours. Okay, runaways or people that just like go missing. And then the incredibly unlikely scenario where a random stranger kidnaps your child in broad daylight happens, like, I think it's like 80 times a year or something. Stranger abductions are profoundly rare. Incredibly rare. It's not even 80. I think it's like 8. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do? Blow the flute when the rapist death squad comes knocking down your door, and they're like, "Shit, we can't get in through the front because she has the TikTok affiliate link backed fingerprint sensor." So I guess they just break the window and literally put their hand up like this and flip the window. After they break the window, she doesn't even have like the glass breaking alerts that automatically inform the closest like cop or anything, because that's a real thing that houses have. Is like if you break the window, there's like a window shatter alarm, but she doesn't even have that. Okay, so let's say they broke the window, they opened the fucking window still, and they walked in through there. What are you gonna do? You're gonna blow the flute at them? And then this, like, what? The goal is with the, what? I keep all this under my pillow. My sleep is very sensitive. I hope my husband will come back soon and I can relax. I keep all of this under my pillow. My wife was attacked by a stranger while hiking this summer in Eastern Washington, and she saw this TikTok and was dumbfounded by how stupid this video is. Yeah, there's a lot of this kind of stuff out there, dude. Oh, is this the same lady? Oh, she does this as well. She does this here too. She does this for hotels, and she does this for cruises too. I've seen this. Okay, I gotta pee while playing this. Hold on. This is like, you need therapy. Check mattress or bed bugs. I mean, that's not to be a doomer, but isn't it far more likely that someone will hack the cameras and have video of her sleeping in her bedroom? I mean, If there's a will, there's a way, guys. That's my point, okay? That's all I'm saying. There are so many corporations and political interests in this country that actively pay for news and ads to keep you scared is so fucking gross. Yes, 100%. I think that over the course of the past 2 years now, the crime spree phenomena that you saw all over news media that legitimately caused people to including my own uncle, who was supposed to be a professional media analyzer, okay? He is a professional media guy, and his brain is fucking broken by the false narratives of crime running rampant, including thinking that Gavin Newsom released. Oh, God, you guys are so cringe, dude. Okay, here, take a week off. Got it. You poop socked me. Oh, my God. Lol, really funny. Many Twitch chatters don't realize that if you keep rewarding people with the got 'em and the Omega laws, this is all it's going to be. All of the links are going to be poop sock, and it's just going to be me getting poop socked over and over again for 3 fucking hours, dude. It's just low effort. Oh, God. You just don't know what is good for you, okay? You don't know that you need to subscribe at the top of the hour, for example. You don't know that. But you do, because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. For $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. You don't know that, though. Yeah, it's going to stop being funny soon. I promise you. You're not going to like it when it's no longer funny. And people are still doing it. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Come on, this isn't that bad, but if done for affiliates, it's obviously weird. No, you're only saying that because I think you personally agree with like the level of freak out that this person is engaging in. Yo, dude, I'm serious. Remember a while back, someone said, hey, Hasan, as a person who gets like many credible death threats, like, how do you deal with it? I think he said, like, I work in a psych ward and I get a lot of potential death threats from a lot of the people that I work with, and it gets to me a little bit. And my answer was literally, I don't think about it. You want to know why I don't think about it? Because if I thought about it, I would go fucking crazy. And that is no way to live. My mentality always has been that I simply must not think about it. I simply must not let it consume me. Okay? Because if I do all the time, it will make me a paranoid, psychotic person. Okay? Now, of course, the difference is that Chatter was a psychiatrist, yes. Oh, wait. I think the Chatter was a psychologist and their patients were dealing with death threats? No, I think, no. The Chatter was a psychiatrist and the patients were delivering the doctor death threats, or someone in the, like, I think they said something along the lines of like, they said something along the lines of just like, you know, like they're getting death threats, but like, you know, active death threats from people that are in their physical vicinity. So it's like a little bit different.
Damn, this guy's good.